Within the last 4 days, 3 Montanans have died in accidents on roads just like this one. All that remains are these empty soda cups and some Trump supporters who say they believe in their candidate more than ever. When they got here, they actually found a mountain lion sitting in a tree not much larger than this one right here now, causing her to lose control and fall 600 feet down the mountain, hitting her head with so much force it actually broke her ski helmet. When it comes to snow here in Bridgerville, there is plenty, but officials say they still can't extend the ski season for more than a day. The owner of this shed tells me he's personally collected all of the antlers that you see in here.
This is the area you might see when you're driving into the northern entrance for Yellowstone National Park.
The Yellowstone Club is working to actually fix the pond where the leak happened. But if you look closely at some of the water here in the Gallatin River, you can still see the remains of sediment. That really is of little comfort to passengers stuck here in Bozeman because United Airlines already made the announcement, which means you can't get pulled over for not wearing this unless you've committed another violation like running a red light. We don't have very heavy snow falling right now, but the wind is really blowing it around everywhere.
Well, neighbors are reacting tonight to a police standoff that lasted 3 hours.
Yes, residents describing the neighborhood as usually pretty quiet.
And thankfully, the standoff with 39-year-old Chad Williams ended peacefully.
Kaitlin Bane live right now in the Gallatin County Detention Center where Williams is currently being held. Kaitlin, why were police after him to begin with?
Williams was wanted in Missoula County for allegedly violating his probation. Now, he was out of prison on parole after being convicted in 1996 of attempted murder. Now, police first got this tip from somebody here in town who says Williams was staying in Bozeman and was possibly armed. Bill Todd lives next door to where the standoff happened. He says for the 46 years he's lived here, it's usually pretty quiet. That's why he was surprised when he went outside around 6:30 this morning.
There was 2 militiamen standing there, and they said get back in there and close the door and don't get by the windows or the doors.
When police first showed up, they evacuated 5 people who were inside the home while Williams was sleeping.
And then he woke up, and then we started to have communications with him this morning and just talked to him for about 3 hours and finally talked him out of the residence.
No bulges or anything in the short?
In this video taken by the Gallatin County Sheriff's Office, you can see Williams peacefully walking out of the house on Yerger Drive with his hands in the air. Gallatin County Sheriff Brian Goodkin says he's grateful the situation didn't become a violent one.
He was very cooperative. He was just worried. You know, it appeared that that maybe he was on some type of either medication or drugs.
During the standoff, the Bearcat was brought in to protect anyone who wanted to be evacuated. But for many residents like Bill Todd, they decided to stay.
They wanted to know if I wanted to leave and be placed someplace else so I wouldn't be so close. And I said, no, I'll just go back in. I don't think anyone's going to bother me.
And sounds like
they didn't.
Williams is now expected to appear in court here in Gallatin County later this week. He'll be transported to Missoula to stand before a judge for violating his probation. Reporting live in Bozeman, I'm Kaitlin Bane.
All right, thanks, Dave. Much of our nation was founded on the traditions of hunting, and even more Montana families, a hot meal was provided by a successful day spent in the woods. However, as the generation of baby boomers age, the tradition of hunting also fades. Our Kaitlin Bane spent weeks looking into how a national hunting decline is impacting Montana. And Kaitlin, I understand you found there is a new group of hunters emerging.
That's right. For years, we've really seen the role of women change in society. We're seeing more women as breadwinners in the home, and just last month we actually saw a woman make it onto the $20 bill. So hunting's no longer just for men. We're seeing quite a few more women getting interested in the sport of hunting. But a national study shows that the decline of hunting doesn't turn around soon. It's going to go from a way of survival to a pretty costly endeavor. During the off-season, Joey Nelson can be found here at the range, practicing for archery season in the fall.
It's my hobby. Everybody has their hobbies. I hunt.
She started her hobby earlier than most, 20 years ago, but at times found it hard to find her place in it.
Well, when I first started hunting, I kind of thought it was a good, the good old boys club. There's a lot more people out there that hunt, more than you realize.
A spokesperson for Fish, Wildlife, and Parks says hunters like Nelson are becoming the new norm. At least that's what numbers from hunter education classes show. The traditional male baby boomers are aging out of the sport.
Right, so we're definitely seeing a shift in the makeup of when you pull up to a gas station on those days when you're going out hunting. It's a different makeup of people, and it makes things more interesting.
FWP gets most of its budget from licenses and tags purchased by hunters. According to a survey conducted by a research group out of Chicago, hunting across the U.S. is declining. The survey shows 40 years ago, a third of the population hunted or lived with someone who did. Now the numbers are less than half, and the modern world helped with the lure of technology as well as food coming from your local butcher. So because of this decline, wildlife experts say they have work to do.
We want to do what we can to inspire people to continue to come out and play in Montana, to continue to engage in the outdoors.
In addition to an increase in women hunters, tourists embarking on a fascinating Montana hunting trip are helping. Still, it's not enough. If hunters buy fewer tags, FWP may be forced to raise fees again or even cut programs.
That's the best part.
But for Nelson, she will continue to draw back, aim, and shoot, pushing to keep the hunting tradition alive.
So I guess I hope that it doesn't die with the good old boys. You know, I hope that we're able to hone the future hunters. If I have a chance to take women and children out and can help them, I will.
Because at the end of the day,
it's better than sitting on the couch at home, right?
Now this decline could have an effect on people who don't even hunt or fish, because funding for Fish, Wildlife, and Parks goes towards wildlife management and making sure that people, animals, and trails are kept healthy and safe. Reporting live in Bozeman, I'm Kaitlin Bane.
A Texas man is scheduled to spend 3 days in jail after vandalizing a well-known monument in Yellowstone.
Our Kaitlin Bane goes to the park and brings us the story.
The Roosevelt Arch here has stood for more than a century, and standing at over 50 feet tall, it's a very popular place for people to get out their phones and to take a selfie. But many visitors are getting upset when they learn that somebody actually came here to the arches and vandalized them, carving their initials right into the stone. The Roosevelt Arch is a gateway into the northern entrance of Yellowstone, but for many visitors, seeing these initials carved in the stone takes away from the history.
We've come all the way from Alabama. We spent 2 weeks getting here and enjoying our country, and then have somebody vandalize the gate here or any part of Yellowstone would be really sad.
Disappointed. You know, it's here for everybody. It's here to kind of last the test of time, and when people do that, it kind of changes the way you think of things, right? So.
In a press release from park officials, they say 26-year-old Dakota Tipton's flagrant disregard for the rules is what landed him 3 days in jail, as well as $300 in fines. It's a consequence many visitors think was well-deserved.
I mean, normally it's a slap on the wrist, but maybe that'll change people's minds if they actually get some jail time or have harsher fines for something like this.
It is something that we have to teach people a little bit of a lesson, I think.
Earlier this year, various park visitors were fined for picking up baby bison, walking off designated trails, and even stepping into a hot spring. With yet another incident in Yellowstone, one park visitor says she hopes people learn
how important these monuments are to us, how important all the beauty of, you know, the Yellowstone is, and how important it is to preserve this area.
A spokesperson for the park says if you see anything suspicious or see anyone vandalizing any part of Yellowstone National Park, you are urged to call them immediately. Reporting in Gardner, I'm Kaitlin Bane.
It's just hard to believe someone would do that. Park officials say that the man convicted of vandalism will likely serve his jail time closer to his home in Texas. Well, the community of Bozeman absolutely shaken by this news tonight. Many friends and family of Darcy Buman speaking out about how she was an amazing mother and an amazing friend.
Our Kaitlin Bane is now live in Bozeman. And Kaitlin, at a time like this, I can only imagine that it's difficult for people to talk about. But what are they telling you?
Many people are saying that she was a beautiful person with really a contagious smile, while many people say you never expect something like this to happen here in Bozeman, Montana. Countless others told me today you never expect something like this to happen to somebody you know and love.
Just a lot to deal with, knowing that her children were going to wake up without a mother, and that was the hardest thing for me to deal with, really.
Jordan Rodenbiker has known Darcy Buman for 3 years. He met her at her job as a massage therapist and says they quickly became friends.
She was always bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, kind of just, you couldn't help but smile when you ran into her. She was that kind of person that brought a lot of love and good energy and compassion to every facet of her life.
And Rodenbiker is not alone. All over Facebook are comments remembering the person she was. One friend commenting, "She was always so happy and bubbly. I will always remember her as Darcy Stud Buman. Rest in peace, sweet lady." One neighbor who lives across the street from Buman says she was a single mom who clearly loved her kids.
Yeah, they're out playing all the time. You can see even right now over there, there's a bunch of kids' toys, little tricycles, scooters, all that kind of stuff. They seem like just really nice young family.
But with tragedy usually comes anger. An anger one friend says he hopes will not get in the way of remembering Darcy.
Remember Darcy for the person that she was and try not to let the hate of the action that marred her beautiful memory.
Buman will obviously be remembered for her bubbly personality and her compassion. One friend telling me on Facebook today that she was very recently looking forward to a movie that Stephen King was going to be working on. Reporting live in Bozeman, I'm Kaitlin Bane.